Let's wait and see. Let's give it a few minutes. Not a few minutes. I mean that sort of in a figurative sense. Give it a minute or so. Let a few more people join, and then I will get going. That was good, wasn't it? That was very, very good. Share this on Blue Sky. Anyone's using Blue Sky? Tetrunk, I'm on there now using it. All right. Should we get this one going? Let's get this one going. Glory, glory. Tottenham Hotspur. That's a bit more like it, isn't it? The season has begun. The season has begun. Ladies, gentlemen, folks, everybody. There's a funny little meme. I think that's what the kids are calling it nowadays. Doing the rounds earlier on where it was like the weather forecast hour by hour. And it was kind of sunshine, sunshine, sunshine. And it got to 3 o'clock. And in the place of rain clouds, there were little like Sean Dyche heads. And it got me. It tickled me. I was a little bit... I was half concerned. I think it was maybe more my scared Spurs fan mind that was a little bit concerned about this afternoon. Just from the perspective of... This feels like a bread and butter fixture for Sean Dyche, that he's going to pick us apart. He's going to see our vulnerability with set pieces, with corners, that type of a thing. But I did always have in the back of my head, and you don't want to be as like loud and proud about this side of things. I sort of thought, and I said it in the preview. I did the preview stream, and also it's on Patreon as well. Or I was saying, I just feel like we're probably going to have too much for this lot. And we did. It's perfect. I don't want to take away anything. I don't want to take away anything from that Spurs performance today. But it was a perfect storm for us in that we were really good today. We were really good. And Everton were awful. Like, they stink. There's real. The clouds are over them this season. I'll be shocked if they don't go this year. They always manage to cling on somehow. But I don't really care. Whatever. I mean, I like Everton. I like their fans. I think they're a good club. But what I'm saying is I'm not here to talk about that today. I'm not here to lament what's happened to Everton or not. Spurs put on a brilliant performance. Answered a lot of criticisms. I mean, look, clean sheet against the Sean Dyche side. Right. Aside of, we've worried about our susceptibility with set pieces and the like. And we've gone toe-to-toe with them, and we've absolutely just battered them. Delightful. There wasn't really any moment in the game where we didn't have full control. Is that fair to say? Brilliant. I mean, top lines from this. I'll do all the players and I'll do all the talking points and things as they come to me. Top lines from this. Kulusevski has to start. I was moaning about him not starting last week against Leicester. Has to start. The amount of control he gave us in that midfield was ridiculous. Not only is he like a physical presence, just the way he knocks the ball about is brilliant. I know people are going to misconstrue this and say this is like a negative thing to say, but way better player than James Maddison for my money. And if it was a decision between the two of them, it would be Kulusevski for me in the centre of the park. And the thing is, I actually would quite like to see Kulusevski and Berryval, went on about that in the preview, playing alongside one another in that centre of the park. I think that would be quite nice to see. Another hot take from the very top of this is Yves Bissouma in that holding role, in that kind of number 6 role. Feels like he's just so integral to this team, right? He's the only player really of that profile with a certain level of seniority to him. They can play it. Bentancur tries to play that role, but I don't think it comes naturally to him. still got some concerns over his mobility, everything like that. The guy's had 2 major knee injuries and everything. But the way kind of Biss just completely marshaled that midfield. And whatever Ange said about him at the start, when you tell off one of your kids and they spend the next 2 days being good as gold, kind of thing, whether it's that or not, we've seen those type of performances from Bissouma in the past. And I do think maybe I am a bit of a Bissouma apologist. But I really like him. I really like him as a player. I loved him today. I loved that performance, and I loved the control. I just loved the control that him and Kulusevski gave us in that midfield, because so often we see Spurs essentially lose games because we cannot retain possession in that final third. Now, we brought in Dominic Solanke to obviously help us on that front. His ball retention is supposed to be great. His pressing, his harrying in that final third is supposed to be great. He's been injured straight away. So you start to wonder, God, what are we going to do? Like, what are we going to do without him there now? He's out. But having those two, I just think it was night and day compared to so many Tottenham performances we've seen previously, right? The amount of control the two of them just gave us in that midfield, the way it allowed us to kind of to actually knock the ball about. Another key sort of top line talking point here, Wilson Odobert. Wow. I didn't think he was going to start. I thought he'd be on the bench. I thought he'd be maybe the sort of player that we see coming on in the second half or something like that. But the lads clearly made quite the impression. Ange said pre-game, didn't he, that he's older than Bergwall. I've told you, I know I feel pretentious pronouncing it that way. Bergwall, whatever. I keep going back to this, right? Bloody pronouncing people's names the way they say they want to be pronounced in little pre-season training videos. It's world's gone mad, hasn't it? I can't remember what I was going to say. Yeah, him and Gray, right? Ange said of those two that they've impressed, and they're younger than him, and Odobert is impressed, so why shouldn't he be playing? It was lovely to. I mean, it's kind of implicit with saying this, but it's lovely to have somebody playing in that kind of final third that actually runs at their man. My point is, I don't want to dig out Johnson, but it does dig out Johnson in the process, in that it's so lovely to see somebody take on their man, be a real handful for the opposition fullback, for the opposition defence. His final ball, as we've been told, wasn't always spot on, but he's a young player, and the thing is, I don't mind that so much, because he's trying. He's kind of, he's I don't know, whatever. He's jumping about, and I'm just sorry, I've been distracted because people are telling me that the mic's dodgy, and I thought it was dodgy the last time I was doing one of these bloody things on here. Let me just have a quick look into it. Just talk amongst yourselves about Wilson Odobert. Actually, while I do try and sort this microphone out, right? There's a lot of you watching right now live on YouTube, and there's not as many thumbs up as there are people watching. So drop us a like, share it maybe while I'm doing this, while I'm just having a look at my sound settings. And I'll be with you in just a second. Right, so it should be on that. Yeah, input volume there, this and that done. Look, I think that's as good as the mic's going to get. I'm going to blame YouTube for that, because I don't really see what else I can do. I don't think I've got any other options, I'm afraid. Wilson Odobert, though, lovely, real menace, real nuisance, everything that we wanted to see. Oh, lovely! Look at all those likes. Got those likes, fanning my ego. That's what it's all about, isn't it? It's not about us actually connecting on any level. It's not about me kind of sharing my thoughts on something, you wanting to hear somebody else's thoughts on something, a kind of, a strange sort of virtual dialogue that we have, where we huddle around the virtual campfire and exchange tales of like this great thing, Tottenham Hotspur, the battle of the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, where we've seen our Tottenham Hotspur triumph over the invading barbarian hordes of Everton. Right? It's not that anymore. It's not kind of nurturing the soul, nurturing my kind of ego as a storyteller, somebody that needs to have this, you know, function of just conveying thought, right? It's just about little likes. That's all that it is. Little notifications. That's all it is now. These little dopamine hits. That's all anything's about, isn't it? Oh God. It's just so much nicer when Tottenham win, isn't it? You know, like it's raining outside. We've had a week of like, and you just sort of lose sight of how much this affects your whole mood. I've had the right hump this week, the whole week, and there's various things that contribute to that, right? You know, you turn on the news, hear about energy companies hiking up the prices again, hear about kind of whoever, different political factions saying this or that, and people doing bad things, and all these horrible, terrible things, microplastics everywhere. Microplastics in our brains now, right? But all that doesn't matter when Tottenham slap 4 goals in, does it? Forget, oh, I don't care. I'm not bothered. Don't care at all. You know? Try to make out like we're all complex. There's nothing to us. It's just watching Tottenham put goals away. Puts kicking footballs into the back of a net. And it doesn't matter. None of it matters, does it? Well, it's just bright. Look, it's cloudy and grey out, but I look at the same sky. It's almost like, you ever seen They Live, the film They Live? It's almost like you put your Tottenham shades on, you look out and it's just beaming sunshine, vistas, right? Mountains and whatever, you know, when you see these kind of like dream AI created like alpine type mountainous scenes, that's what it's like. I don't know what I'm going on about today. I'm just buzzing. You tell I'm happy. You tell I'm happy that Spurs have won. It's just class, isn't it? Let's see what some of the people are saying. Spurs Simpsons, hello, mate. Yay, Malpe crying, hopefully. Well, I'm sure I'll have something to say, won't he? Something very funny. John Benfield, how nice was it to win a game by a few goals and be able to take players off and use the squad? Yes. This is what I was crying out for the other night. It's in like, you don't just want to creep past Everton. You don't just want to creep past them. You want to smack them. You want to like pestle and mortar them into dust. That's it. And that's what we've done to them. Really compound the misery. Like I said, I do like Everton. I like their fan base. I feel sad for them if they go down just before they open up a new ground. But also, yes, it's not us for once. So it's like after the first week of the Premier League, as if the Premier League official account are calling us out, as if we're already the banter team. All the memes of Ange Postecoglou bending over, which, you know, we contributed a fair amount of those ourselves into the mix, right? But as if that's us. First game of the bloody season again. No, it's not. It gets to be Everton. That's fine. It's fine. Nice to see Sonny get a brace as well. That should have been one of my top talking points. Brace for Sonny. Everyone groaning about him starting centrally. Yes, I know he scored one of those goals when he shifted over to the left, but still, credit where it's due. How alert was he to that Pickford mess up in the first half? You know? Sonny, man. It's a predator in those sort of areas. Demesentrays. I can't really pronounce that properly. I think so, but 4 goals, clean sheet, nobody injured, pretty much perfect. Yeah, I was well worried though. I was well worried that first half, Mickey van der Ven, the way his leg inverted, bent in on itself. Horrible that. Sam Salinas, can we talk about Brennan? I'll talk about him in the player bit at the end, but I don't want to focus on those bits today. Let's enjoy a 4-0 win, shall we? Let's do that. Mark said, look, slight crack in the feedback, Jack. I know, I'm sorry, mate. I'm sorry. I don't know what it is with the mic. I'm blaming YouTube today. I'm not sure what it is. Honestly, I couldn't tell you. Channel level settings, nothing like that. I don't have any settings. There's nothing I can change, really. I'm afraid. I don't know what it is. Maybe the microphone's buggered. I hope not. Paul Bates, good job, well done. Solanke and for Johnson at Newcastle, hopefully. And could this be the season that Everton finally go down? It feels that way, doesn't it? It really feels the way that this is the season Everton got. I mean, it's 2 games in. It's 2 games in, and who knows what happens. But let's hope so. So what else is there to say about Johnson? He does F all every game, and people go, "Well, he's young." Look again. Let's just not do it. Let's not do it today. Let's not do it today. I'm not trying to be toxically positive. I'm just saying today, let's focus on the good things. Right. The Pip lad was good to get some momentum behind the team and get the ball rolling for the weekends to follow. 100% agree there. 100% agree. Horrible trip to St James's Park. I mean, it shouldn't be horrible, but it seems to be now, doesn't it? Our annual horror trip to St James's Park. And then the North London derby. Small matter of a North London derby. So it's good to have that momentum. Who was it? Somebody who regularly talks to me on here. Sorry, I've forgotten your name. But somebody said I was being painfully, or no, maybe it wasn't directed fully at me, but just the conversation in general is quite myopic. It's quite short-sighted to be talking about results early on in the season. Saying that, look, let's just get behind the process and not behind the results as much. And I sort of disagreed with that. And I still kind of do. I get the point that's being made that, we don't need to microanalyze every single result at this point in the season, but it's a results business. That was kind of my point. And I know that's trite. I know that's a bit of a cliche. And flipping it on its head now, as opposed to sort of looking at it through a kind of negative lens, it's good that we have won this one and we do have that momentum. We've got that uplift. We've got that positive kind of feeling to what we're doing. That maybe the players, I'm not saying they didn't or at any point, but even if there was any kind of doubt for them, maybe there's that positivity again starting to run through it. Oh, maybe we're onto something here. Maybe the penny is starting to drop, and it's good, isn't it? Stephen King, hello mate, taking a break from writing those horror novels again. It's only about the 5th time I've made that joke. Hello Jack, looking good, sir. Oh, thank you very much. Is Ange the best manager since Poch? He likes to maintain that he keeps distance from the players, but his disappointment with Biss seems to have done the trick. Come on, you Spurs. I mean, he's definitely my favourite manager since Pochettino. Can we say that? I mean, I'm just saying, I'm just throwing it out there. Conte did get us into the top 4. I know it ended quite horribly. Conte did get us into the top 4. We did look very good under Conte for a while. Maybe those two are kind of, in an actual sense, on something of a par, perhaps. But in terms of like, who do I prefer? Ange, definitely. I mean, it's no contest, is it, really? Hobu says Dyche will get their defence organised and they'll grind out 40 points. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, in terms of what you're saying about Bissouma, the disappointment with him, maybe, yeah, could have done the trick. I mean, I've been pretty critical of that. I found it somewhat uncomfortable, the treatment from Bentancur for doing a racism, as I say, in sort of quotation marks, versus Bissouma, I guess, still doing an illegal act in a laughing gas balloon. But I would say in the court of public opinion, let's be real, is a far, far, far lesser crime than what Bentancur did. And it felt like, I don't know, he publicly dragged Bissouma a few times, whereas he didn't give the same treatment to Bentancur. And it has made me somewhat uncomfortable. It has done. And I'll be honest about that. If you don't like that, if you think that's me being negative or trying to be white knighting or whatever, fine. You're welcome to your opinion, but that's the way I feel about it. And I'll say that. I think too many of us have had a bit of a blind spot for how much of a pass Bentancur's got. Even if we're saying, oh, we don't know what's happened behind the scenes, that's part of the problem. That is part of the problem. Because we have seen quite publicly Bissouma being told off, being put on the naughty step. So, but if we feel that that's worked, if we feel that's gotten that performance out of Bissouma, maybe, yeah. Bissouma has been he's been such a yo-yo player, hasn't he? But we've seen his quality in a Spurs shirt. We have done. And I really things, if we can just hold on to that, please, because we saw it at Brighton and we have seen it in flashes here at Spurs, haven't we? He really can be a really special player, if he can stay in whatever kind of frame of mind that is that brings that best out of him. It's weird, isn't it? Let's have a look. I've got a couple more comments about the mic. Sorry. Kois Castle says the Kulusevski and Solanke combo is going to hit like crack. I don't know what that hit is like, but if we're going along with it's good, then yeah. I really do fancy watching those two play together, if you like. LP tuning in for the inevitable neg session. Well, why? Go away. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not it, is it? This isn't a neg session. I think anybody will tell you plenty of people listen to this and will tell you otherwise. I don't like that that's becoming a bit of a meme. You can do one. Brian Park, Bissouma, 1 goal in 1 game. Since nailing Nos, he's going for the Balloon d'Or. That is a very good dad joke, Brian. I'm going to give you that. All right. I like that. Just Gems. Did Biss look good because he was marshalling Kulu and Maddison instead of kids? I don't know. Or did they look good because he was there, giving them that kind of solid foundation? I don't know. Bissouma looked. This is Dimonstres says Bissouma looked better because we had a winger who gets the ball and actually holds on to it. Coy's Castle team looked to pass to Odobert at every opportunity. They know how good he is. Team-changing signing. He really does seem really, really good, doesn't he? And I get it. I know we're always caught in this sort of kind of cycle of like, let's not put too much pressure on the young shoulders, all this type of thing. But he did look class. He looked class, and aren't we allowed to just enjoy that? We're allowed to enjoy that, right? I get it. I get why people get they don't want to like jinx it, right? It's that type of thing, isn't it? People don't want to jinx stuff, and they don't want to say this looks good, this is great, I'm enjoying this. But Odobert looked class, and I think we can say he's class, and it looks like a really good signing. More of that, please. More of that, please. Duces Wild says, my mental health is entirely reliant on Mickey van der Ven staying fit. Yeah, well, that was really worrying, wasn't it? That was really I mean, Dragusin looked like he was buzzing, to be fair. I imagine he was pretty happy about the idea of coming on, but you don't want to be without Mickey van der Ven at all, do you? And when like I said, when I saw his leg bend back, I was thinking, no, please no. But there we go. Hacker BLCPS, Arsenal loss will cap off Saturday really nicely, please. Like the old Ferrero Rocher adverts, as I always go back to as a cultural reference that really shows my age. Mr. Premier League, with these results, you are really spoiling us. Please. Stephen King says, my daughter is sitting here with me doing some drawing while you're musing on the lift of mood because of our win. She's cracking up. Good. What's she drawing? Tell us what she's drawing. I want to see. Well, I can't see it, can I? But I can picture it in my mind. Maybe. MBJ2, was I surprised to see Sonny start up front and Richie on the bench? No, not really, because I don't think Richarlison's been fit at all, has he? And I don't think Ange is afraid to play Sonny up front. Honestly, I thought it was going to be probably Sarr and Biss, Maddison, and then Kulusevski up front. So I was surprised to see Sonny start up front in that respect. I thought he'd still be out left. And I thought Johnston would be starting on the right. And I didn't think Odobert would be starting, but there we go. Adam McConnell, we were good and they were desperate. We barely got out of second gear. Yeah, I think that's fair to say. Yeah, we weren't kind of flying and we dealt with them professionally and pretty firmly, didn't we? That was pretty class. I'm sometimes I get distracted because I'm reading the comments as I go along, and we come in pieces of saying it might not be the mic, and he's giving me some like tech things it might be on the fly, and I don't know. I'll let you in. I'll let you in behind the curtain. He's saying it might be my RAM or CPU. Could be peaking. Check my usage or buffer size. But I just restarted my computer before I went into this. I hope this doesn't mean my laptop's knackered already. I didn't get that long ago. Nico, it's versus Everton. Calm the farm. Look, see, you can't do right for doing right here, right? I said I wasn't happy with drawing 1-1 with Leicester, and I get made out like I'm bloody Eeyore, and then I'm just sort of saying, "Oh, it's nice to win 4-0." I'm getting told to calm my farm. I mean, come on, give me a break. Give me a break. Hacker says Ange is definitely a real daddy, not a stepdaddy like Mourinho and Conte. Yep. And what would you call Nuno Espirito Santo? Bill Dal says, "How is that jumper in the thumbnail?" For anyone listening, sorry about this, but yeah, I bought that new. There you go, the new Tottenham Hotspur Nike jumper with a sort of like sailory collar and cuffs. Seen it? It's a nice sweatshirt, solid sweatshirt actually. Decent, nice bit of Nike garb. That sometimes when you buy some of those like Nike sweatshirts and stuff, it's weird. They make the outside of them from like football shirt material with a weird kind of thin, all I can describe it as is like furry, velvety type lining. Like I bought this black hoodie of theirs once, the Spurs one. It was just weird. It's got like a weird monk's hood and that sort of a thing. I didn't like it at all, really. But that's nice. That's a solid sort of normal sweatshirt. Sweatshirt material. So there you go. What have we got? We come in pieces. Seemed like a good start for Odobert. Not only him going past players, but also tracking back and making tackles. Yep. Alan Leslie Johnson still baffles me. Should be so much better. Look, it's a focus free zone on Johnson this week. All right, I can do that during the week or something. But now let's ride the wave of good vibes, of happy vibes after this one. Let's see what else we've got here. Sam Lane says, without another 6, we only go as far as Bissouma goes. And that follows up with Spurs Simpson saying, what one position do we need before deadline day? And that's it, isn't it? I think we need another kind of number 6 profile player, somebody with that like combative attributes. Somebody can get stuck. And I know people will say Archie Gray can kind of do that, but maybe just another one. Maybe another one that discernibly has that. Because I don't know, Archie Gray, from what I understand, from what I've read, he feels a bit more Rolls Royce as opposed to kind of a Goethe kind of in their faces, up at them type play. I'm sure he can do a bit of that as well, but it feels like he might be wasted doing that type of thing. So maybe if we can have just a bit more of a kind of, a pit bull, if you like, in that midfield, somebody like that. Or maybe another defender, because I'm sort of worried. I'm a bit worried when Mickey van der Ven went down. K9 McGurn 1 says, what's my ideal front three for next game? Yeah, that's a tough one, isn't it? I mean, if Solanke's fit, anyone play, anyone? Does anyone play this niche thing, Premier League fantasy football? Premier League fantasy football said they weren't expecting him back till like mid-September. But is that just the end of the international break or something? Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I'm being silly. So provided if Solanke is back for the next game, I mean, he definitely starts, doesn't he? He definitely starts up front, in the centre. Then I guess you are going to have to play Son out on the left. And then I don't think you can drop Odobert after today. So I think you put him out on the right. And I'm playing Kulusevski behind Solanke, I'm playing Kulusevski there. But that's not front three, is it? So I don't need to go into that. It's interesting. Okay, here we go. Demonstrace says, I'm going to be the positive one about Johnson and say that the one time he actually turned to face his defender, we scored the opener. So maybe there is hope there. Yeah, that's a fair point. That's a fair point to make. But I love Kulusevski. You know that. Like, I think that's the thing I really want to go into on this one is that he's just great. He's great. And I know that's not in-depth analysis, but that's not what you come to this dump for, is it? He's a lovely, lovely player. And like I say, his bullishness in midfield, I think he dictates stuff way more than James Maddison does. And all right, here we go. Here's the next sesh. I don't think James Maddison is like a first name on the team sheet kind of player. I just don't, right? That's what I say. And if we're talking about Kulusevski being shifted out wide to make room for James Maddison through the centre, I don't want to see that. I want to see Decky playing centrally, and that's kind of that's what it is. I think he's lovely. Lovely player. And really just the whole kind of he doesn't fit Ange's system. I think he does. I think maybe he doesn't fit Ange's system as a winger, playing out wide, but having him centrally there, I think he's great. He's wonderful. I've seen some people saying on Twitter and stuff when I was talking about him, they were like, he plays best in this as the number 8 as opposed to the number 10. Maybe that's true. Maybe I'm incorrect. Maybe we do need to have Maddison as the 10, Kulusevski as a number 8, and then keep Biss there as a number 6. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Maybe that's what we need to do. So maybe it's not even like a shootout between Maddison and Kulusevski. Don't know what anyone else thinks. So 2 seconds. Shall I do the players? Yeah, let's do the players. Vicario, not an awful lot to do today, really. And that's good. Great. Commanded his box well, distributed the ball well. Let's not take the kind of the fundamentals that he does very well for granted. Yeah, lovely player. Destiny Adoggy feels like he had a bit of a Marmite performance last week. I didn't see it myself personally. I thought he was fantastic. I generally always do think he's fantastic. Good performance again today. I thought very strong. Sorry. Very strong, up and down the pitch, overlaps well. Great. Like, let's not complain about a position, a player that we've needed for so long. He's a young player. He's learning on the job. He's wonderful. Let's not lose sight of that. A great, great, great player. Mickey van de Ven, commanding today. What a run! What a run for that assist for Sonny as well. It's kind of like Vertonghen 2.0. I'm not saying Vertonghen 2.0 in terms of he's better than Jan or anything like that. I'm just talking about Jan's kind of runs that he'd make up the pitch every now and again, especially when he was a bit younger, a bit earlier on in his career. He used to do those kind of big darting right runs. He's a real footballer, Jan Vertonghen. And it was lovely seeing Mickey van de Ven doing that today. Just running, using that athleticism of his, that pace, that power to just sprint through the middle of Everton, lay that ball off for Sonny. Lovely jubbly. Cuti Romero, really good performance today. What you want to see from him. Felt like he was really kind of on top of his game today. Yes, I know it's against Everton, all this type of thing, but still, I don't think he put a foot wrong today. Like swept up. I want to say there was a couple of times when Everton fizzed a sort of menacing cross into the box, and he's booted it out of danger. Lovely header as well. Highest scoring defender in the Premier League last year as well. I didn't realise that. That's what the commentator told me. So good. Much more of that, please. Vice Capitano. Lovely stuff. Pedro Porro. Wonderful player. Like I say, it's sort of similar of a doggy. Like, even when he does kind of, whatever, slip up, if you even want to say slip up, even when he's not 100% perfect, I always just sort of tell myself, look, him and the doggy are what we've been looking for since Rose and Walker left, right? And it feels like we're getting back to that place now. He went down like Calvert-Lewin, I think it was, sort of raked his calf. I think he was probably making a bit of a meal of it to get the referee's attention. But I'm sure it's a very painful thing to have happen as well. So I'm not going to say it's all just a kind of like a ruse. But I don't mind players doing that type of thing. Bit of the dark arts, as they say. James Maddison, an okay performance today. And that's kind of that's where I'll leave it with him. Yves Bissouma, lovely jubbly, lovely commanding performance. The bedrock of most things that we did in an attacking sense, provided the defense, especially in this Ange Postecoglou way of playing, provided the defense with that cover that they so desperately need, that is so desperately lacking so often, isn't it, when we're watching this Spurs side. A wonderful, wonderful performance. Wonderful goal. What a goal as well. His first Tottenham goal, which seems mad to me, but there you go. It's one of those kind of, what is it, the Mandela effect, isn't it? Speaking of the Mandela effect, man, if you've ever seen the film, what's it called, Field of Dreams, the old Kevin Costner movie. There's a thread doing the rounds at the moment. I know this is a bit of a, I digress, but again, it's what I do, innit? It's what I do. Field of Dreams, there's this Mandela effect thing going on about it in terms of everybody seems to be of the opinion, myself included, that Field of Dreams was about a guy who lived in kind of rural America who basically started to hear voices and wanted to try and convince everybody that he wasn't going crazy. And the film follows him building a baseball field in the back of his, like in his cornfield. And the culmination of the movie is actually that all these kind of ghost, legendary baseball players come and play this game on his field. And everybody realizes, oh, he's not crazy. That's not what the film is at all. Like, that whole bit there is wrapped up in 20 minutes, apparently. What happens after that is he then goes on and pursues his dream of actually being a baseball coach and stuff. I don't remember any of that. I don't know any of this. Apparently, no one really actually even cared that this guy was saying that he could hear voices and that he's building a baseball field in his cornfield. That suddenly he's got all these baseball players show up and his wife's just making coffee and breakfast for them and stuff. It's well bizarre. I didn't know that, but yeah, another Mandela effect thing. I can't even remember what the Mandela effect was in this Tottenham context, but who cares? Oh yeah, that Bissouma had scored a goal before. Apparently hasn't. Apparently that was his first goal for Tottenham. And what a way to open up your account, eh? Dejan Kulusevski, Kulu, Deki, whatever you want to call him, masterful performance today. I just love him. I think he's such a wonderful player. When there was some of that talk of like we might sell him to Napoli for 30 mil or something, nah, didn't like that one bit. Didn't like that whiffy chat one bit. But yeah, lovely player. Wilson Odobert, lovely debut. Starting to look like a brilliant signing, isn't he? I'm sure there's going to be off days as well, as there are with any players, there are with especially young players who are still kind of learning on the job, learning as they go. But he is in a young man's position, isn't he? Kind of playing that sort of wing role. By that I mean you generally tend to see younger players break through in those positions. I guess maybe there's less. I mean, all roles on a football pitch have certain responsibilities, don't they? Like, the team's only as good as the sum of its parts, blah, blah, blah. But in terms of when you're playing kind of an advanced wing role, there's less chance for you to get caught out and for you to get yourself in trouble, isn't there? You're going to every now and again hit maybe like a whiffy cross or something, and people are going to say, you should really work on your end product. But it's very, very rare that you're going to get yourself in a lot of trouble. And I just think there's certain physical demands required of players that play in those positions, right? And that tends to be why you see younger players breaking through in those positions sooner, perhaps, than other places on the field. But I thought he was wonderful, right? Wonderful performance, so promising. That suddenly maybe it's my own. It's not even doubting the player, but it's more the idea that when you're signing a young player, you think, well, we don't rely on them now. We don't really count them now. We're looking forward to seeing what they can become in a few years' time. But the fact that he already, at least from this performance, looks like he's going to be a fine first team player for us for some time, then wonderful. So we can ask for, because it's added already, suddenly added like this whole other dimension to our side, hasn't it? To the way we play, to what we do. You can suddenly just get excited about that. Lovely jubbly. Son Heung-min, great performance, right? Great performance from Sonny. We're having that, aren't we? 2 goals. Wonderful, sort of capitalising on Pickford's error. And then a second goal, which was kind of vintage Sonny. Takes the ball on his outside foot, bang, near post, acute angle, finished with unerring certainty. Lovely. He's too old. He hasn't got it anymore. It's 2 more goals. Son Heung-min. Captain fantastic. Wonderful. Brennan Johnson, again, has split opinion. I'll sort of maintain what I'm saying all along in that he's obviously an Ange player. Ange wants to continue to develop him. And so let's just be patient with it, right? Let's see where it's headed. Charlison came on very late. Not much to report. Is Archie Gray again, much the same. Same with Lucas Berrival, Pape Matar too. Jed Spence. The one thing I would say is, I think when he came on, I'm definitely here for the Jed Spence redemption arc. I love the fact that he is now actually somebody that we're calling on to come on in games and things like that, and that's a wonderful place for him to be. I probably wouldn't want to see him starting games at the moment. He just, I don't think he doesn't feel as like positionally aware and as confident in himself as Pedro Porro is, but he's a more junior player to Porro, and he doesn't have as many minutes under his belt. So again, it's not like a massive criticism of him. He's built his way up to now being the the on-call option for Pedro Porro, which is fantastic, considering last year he was jettisoned to I think even the Serie B or something he was playing in. So all here for it. Looks like he's got all the attributes to be, a great player under Ange Postecoglou. So long may it continue. Long may that kind of trajectory for him continue. A couple more comments. Let's do a couple more of these before we got. We come in set pieces. A counterpoint on Maddison. 2 assists in 2 games. There's room for him to grow, but it's not all bleak. No, I don't think it is all bleak. And yeah, fair. 2 assists, 2 games, wonderful. I don't think it's all bleak. I'm not. Please don't misconstrue this just because I'm not being effusive in my praise to him. I'm not saying let's get rid of him. Let's do anything. I know he's a very good player. I know he's a very competent player. My only point is that I'm just not sure he's a kind of first name on the team sheet kind of player as we were maybe hoping he was going to be. But it's just my opinion. It's just what I can say so far. I don't know. Let's have a look. Demonstris says, honestly, the next 2 games will tell us what we are, not the last 2. Yep, fine. Liam J says, no one can tell me that teams are looking forward to withstanding the level of pressure that we put on teams. Maybe. I don't know. Who knows, mate? It'll be, unless, the Newcastle game just feels like one of those weird games, right? Where almost like anything can happen. So it's almost like a bit of a the thing is, people will say, oh, North London derby, a derby game, form goes out the window. I almost feel like form goes out the window even more so when we play at St James's Park. That feels like it feels like it's such a particularly weird game. I am really, really interested as to how this Arsenal game is going to go. Look, Arsenal are playing Aston Villa at the moment. I'm going to finish this up any moment so we can all go back and watch that and hopefully watch Arsenal lose. Who knows how good they're going to be this year, Arsenal. It's kind of nice, isn't it, to get this game early doors before everybody's up to speed, before everybody's in a real kind of momentum either way, upwards or downwards. This feels like a dare I say it, an almost sort of perfect time to play them at home. Hopefully we can get some of this early season promise. Another home game then under our belts. No, we won't actually. Sorry, St James's Park is away, isn't it? So, well, good. This is our first home game of the season, and we're going to go into that one. Let's just beat Arsenal. Essentially, that's my point at the end of the day, isn't it? Look, whatever. I think I've done enough rambling today on this one. Glory, glory, Tottenham Hotspur. 4-0 win. Let's just soak it in. This sun is really burning my face at the moment as well. I'm sure there's plenty of sort of things we can nitpick at in this one. And I see some, I'm not trying to do that at the moment with James Maddison at all. Well, I can't say I'm not trying to do it at all. I probably am doing it a bit, but just don't amplify it. I'm not doing it in this big over the top way. I'm just offering my opinion off the cuff that, I didn't think he was maybe as good as some of the other players, but I know he's still a great player. And like it was put to me there, 2 games, 2 assists. What more do you want from a number 10? So focus on the positives. 4-0, lovely. This could have gone so differently. Imagine coming to this, having drawn 1-1 again, something like that. We've been dice-balled in the 94th minute or something like that. We've not had that. Good commanding performance, good commanding win. Absolutely slapped Everton about. Glory, glory, Tottenham Hotspur. Let's keep this going. Let's keep this going. Thanks everybody for tuning in, for either watching or listening. Please leave a rating, please leave a review, like, subscribe, notify, all that sort of thing. Also got a Patreon if you want to listen to more of this type of stuff midweek. Patreon.com/RTRpod. If you sign up at the moment, you get a 7-day free trial. So you can actually come and just have a listen and see what you think of everything as well before you part with any coin whatsoever. But yeah, come on, you Spurs. Much love.